Recently I was preaching through the Sermon on the Mount and I found something very interesting. Virginia Stem Owens, who's a professor of English and literature, some years ago she was teaching a university course in a major secular university, and as a kind of exercise, she gave her class the exercise of reading the Sermon on the Mount and writing a response paper to it. And most of the kids, most of them had heard of it, some hadn't heard of it, and very few of them had any acquaintance with it at all. And so she read the response papers, and she wasn't surprised, and yet she was. They hated it. They utterly hated it. 19th century liberal theology, and people would say, oh, the important thing is not what you believe about doctrine or dogma or anything like that. The important thing is that you just live like the Sermon on the Mount, because it's so beautiful. That's what a Christian ought to live like. They clearly have never read it, because when her students read it, this is couple things they said. Quote, "I did not like the Sermon on the Mount. It made me feel like I had to be perfect, and no one is." Here's another one said, quote, "The things asked in this sermon are absurd. To look at a woman like that is adultery. To be angry and to insult someone is like murder. These are the most extreme, stupid, unhuman statements I have ever heard." And see, what Virginia Stem Owens knew was they were desperately looking for cover. Because when you read the Sermon on the Mount, this is how you want people to live like around you. You just don't think you can do it yourself, and you realize, wait a minute, this is an arrow pointing at my heart. And Virginia Stem Owens says this, she concludes, she says, "Finally, biblical illiteracy has come to the point where people are able to respond to Jesus without filtering it through 2,000 years of cultural haze. Honest, ignorant ears hear it as it is, and it's terrifying." I think it was Dr. Lloyd Jones that someplace said, if anyone has ever read the Sermon on the Mount with an open mind, they would fall down and cry out, "God save me from the Sermon on the Mount." Because what they're experiencing in a little way, without the thunder and lightning, without all the special effects, is the holiness of God.